Hey, welcome to the Just Weebs stream, or the OniMaru stream, or the Truck-kun Chronicles, whatever you want to call it. If you're new to the stream, or you haven't been here before, it's really just been so far I've been creating my anime list profile. So we'll review that in a second when I think some more people join. And if you're in the chat, make sure you say hi so I can see that you're there. And I'm not just talking into a void. So, let's see. Typically, I like to start these streams a little earlier so I can have some setup time. But lately that hasn't been working out, so I've just kind of been thrown into the spot here. Also I feel like with that setup time, you can let a little people kind of a few people trickle in. So yeah. Well, I think I'm gonna get started anyway. And here is my completed list. So as of this week, we're continuing on. This is what I've gotten so far, where I've gotten so far with the list in the past two streams. Last week I took a short break, so it was 2 weeks before that. I got up to 129 anime that I have so far all added to this completed list and scored every single one of them. I'm not too sure about my scoring system yet. So, I will tweak that. I actually will bring that up a little later in the stream. I think, what are your thoughts on what each number should be? What is your personal scoring list? For example, what do you consider a 5? What would a 5 be for you? And I see that Angel Dranger just joined us on the stream. Hey, Angel Dranger, how's it going? Also, Happy New Year. Happy New Year to everyone. This is January 2nd. If you're on my side of the world, for other people, it's January 3rd. But yeah, it's January 2nd, and we've started the new year of 2021. Also, I just realized this recently. I read this. Someone was talking about this, that 2021 sounds like 2020, the year 2021. We have lost to the year 2020, and this is its victory year. God, I hope not. But anyways, I'm going to continue here with completed the list this week and assigning scores, even though I really don't want to, but I'm going to have to do it. So I've compiled a few here. Let's go with one of the animes I've watched is Megami-sama, or Oh My Goddess. This one had like a movie and originally a movie in 1993, which I don't think I watched it. I always heard about it. Then it had another movie in 2000. But what I did actually finally get to watch, not recently, but back then, was the TV series. And I enjoyed it. It was okay. It was good. So I would give that a solid 7. Completed, and that's a 7. And then I also did watch the second season, which I thought, again, I don't remember specifically, but the second season was, well, I watched the TV specials. I think that came before the second season, or it's a side story. So I watched that, and I think that was also in line with what I liked about the show. I think that's a 7. And if any of you have watched Oh My Goddess, whether the TV or the movie, definitely comment in the chat what your thoughts are on it. What would you rate it? And then let's get the second TV series, the second season. I don't know if I watched anything else, but I think this was all pretty much a 7 for the little that I remember. I just remember, enjoying it. It was funny, but it wasn't anything like, out of the ordinary or anything completely different. Then the next thing I've watched, and I think I'm still going in alphabetical order here, might as well, is Ajin. I actually did watch that a few years back on Netflix. I kind of binged it. I don't know. I had a lot more expectations of this series, kind of like what it was setting up, and it was okay. I wasn't too impressed with it. It was all in 3D, so I was very hesitant to watch it because I thought the CG wasn't going to be very good, especially having it all be in CG. But it was okay. It wasn't too jarring, or you got used to it, and then that was okay. And I think this series was, I think, a good 7. And I think for the second season, which I did watch, I don't know if I didn't watch any of these summaries or I didn't watch any of these. I did watch the second season, and the second season, I don't know. I was a little disappointed with the second season, but it wasn't like, it wasn't. I mean, it was in line with what was building up from the first season, so it didn't. I don't feel like it went down in score, possibly from what I remember. I just felt like I felt very about the conclusion. But I still think that I'd give it a 7. I don't feel it was terrible. And then here's an oldie, and this is completely not in alphabetical order, which it just happens to be just where, I don't know why I placed it so far up on the list, but I just remembered this one. It was Nightwalker. I remember I rented this one on, like, I think DVD? Yeah, DVD, like back at remember when Blockbusters existed, or was that before your time? Well, when Blockbuster was around, I rented this, I think it was just 12 episodes. I don't remember if it was a few DVDs or all in one DVD rental, and it was a series called Nightwalker. I like there was the main character is a vampire, and there was he had like a partner, the female lead. She was like a redhead, really cute. It's this chick, Yamazaki Riho. I don't remember anything about her. This is that old art style, but she's really cute. I think the series was. I really do not remember this. It was okay. I enjoyed it for the time. I completed it, and I think I am between. I think I'm gonna give it a 6. It was cool. That's as far as I can remember it. As much that I can remember of it. If you've watched Nightwalker, let me know if you remember it. Let me know your thoughts on it in the chat. Giving No Fox says, give us more Sato for Ajin. I do agree. And actually, if you've never watched Ajin, but you've seen that one, like, meme or, like, gif going around about this, like, anime character, this old man anime character just charging in and being shot repeatedly and all his limbs being torn off. And then he just gets back up, and then he keeps going, and then his head gets, like, blown off, and then he just keeps getting up. And like, you're just, like, out of context. You're just watching this, and you're like, what is going on? This is insane. This makes no sense. How is he still getting back up? Well, that scene is from Ajin. And in context, it was like, okay, it made sense. But out of context, I could see how, balls to the wall, insane it seems. So, and he was a really interesting character. Another one that actually has been popular in the last few years, and I've actually been able to watch every season, is Gretzko, or as they have it with the proper title, Aggressive Retsuko. And the ONA, actually, let me just start with this one, the TV series. This one, I enjoyed Gretzko. I enjoyed every season of Gretzko. They have the ONA, they have the second season. Why do they have it listed as alternative version? Second season, third season, ONA, fourth season. Did I even watch the fourth season? Maybe I did watch the fourth season. Is that I'll get to that in a second. I think the ONA is the Christmas special. All right, let me get there. So I think it's a very relatable show. Very surprising. I didn't think Gretzko with its cute Hello Kitty inspired visuals would be something that I'd be into, but it's actually a very, very relatable show that I watched in both dub and sub. I think I'd give it an 8. It was very good. Wait, why does it say 100 episodes? Did I pick the wrong thing? I picked the wrong thing. Okay, maybe this isn't it. Oh, I didn't watch this version of Agretzko. Maybe this is like what is this? Oh, it's just 1 minute per episode. So this is like a shorts, and there was 100 episodes of these. So how do I take this back? How do I remove this from my list? Do I put watching? Do I put dropped? I don't know. Well, I gave it a rating. If I do select, I'm gonna have to go back to my list and just remove this manually. Okay, I'll do that in a second. I guess I can leave it at completed. Or maybe I can just do 0 out of 100. If I do that, would that remove it? I guess not. All right, I'll deal with that in a second. I think what I was looking for was okay, now it makes much more sense. The aggressive Retzko ONA, and then the ONA second season, ONA third season, and ONA fourth season. Okay, great. We're back on track. So let's see. I completed this, and I think this was an 8. And I think the quality of the seasons remained consistent. So, and I did enjoy season 2 as well with what's his face? I don't remember his face. I didn't like is that other character in here? Anai? I hated him. Unless he was in season 3. What is his name again? I forgot. He's a cool guy. So that's an 8. And let's go to season 3. Season 3. Let's see. Netflix. I'm the opposite. Let's see. Giving No Fox says she's the opposite. I didn't like Retzko. You didn't like the show, or you just didn't like Retzko as a character? And still like the show beyond, Retzko being the way she was. And I could get that. I think this one was good. I think this is when Retzko... Yeah, this is the one from this year, when Retzko became famous. A pop star, an idol. She joined an idol group. So did the 4th season come out already, or is this just on here? Let's see. Okay, this hasn't come out yet. Not yet aired. All right, so I don't have to worry about ranking this. Then We Wish You a Metal Christmas. I think I did watch this. It was okay. I think I'd give that a 7. Really not necessary. And yeah, that's it for Agretzko. What would you guys rate Agretzko? What would you give it? Do you think 8 is fair? Is it more of like a 7 to you? And then let's go on to another old one that I just remembered recently that I watched, which was Yuri Aoshi. I don't know if you guys watched that one. It's a rom-com, just a romance. I think it's a rom-com, sort of like a harem. Aired back in 2002. I remember collecting the DVDs for this. I think I still have them, or maybe I don't have them. Maybe I didn't keep this one. I'll have to see. But I think this one was good. It was good, from what I remember. And I'm probably being generous here, but again, I just remember its second season being not as good. And actually, before I type it in, I gotta remember, I can just go down here. Okay, so this second season was, it was more fan servicey and less, I don't know, less charming. So I'd go with that. And let's check out the chat. Didn't agree with her life choices. Didn't like Retzko as a character. I enjoyed the rest of the cast. Yeah, well, I get that. Her life choices weren't smart, and she felt very inhibited, but she didn't really do anything to kind of help herself. But I could see how that's very relatable. So, but in some cases it was frustrating watching her. But then it's because it reminds you of yourself sometimes, and I guess that's where the relatable bit comes in. And okay, so there's Alno Zero, which this one I won't be able to fully score it because I still, now that I realized that this has been split into, on my anime list, it's split into two, the two cores are split into 2 seasons. I have to give them separate scores. So I can rank the first season because I did complete this, just not the second season because I I still think I have like 2 episodes that I never finished. I never watched the last 2 episodes because I was just like, screw this show. It had so much potential, and then it just, dragged it through the mud. I don't know. I enjoyed season 1, but in hindsight, it was just because of the buildup. The characters were okay. I really thought it was going to be a lot more. So I think this was... I am between... I think it was a 6. Let's give it a 6. Let's be fair. And I really have to work on this scoring system. What do you guys rank? What do you consider a 5? What's your definition for a 5 or a 6? Like, what are your definitions for that? How do you break down your personal scoring system? Just give me some feedback on that, because I'm trying to brainstorm, like, what is, and I get everyone has their own definitions for what's a 6, what's a 5, and it's gonna vary, but just want to get some different ideas, because I'm thinking like 6 is like, it had some enjoyable things that it did, it was a little bit unique, but it had a lot of problems, so that's why it's a 6. And then a 5 is it's more generic, a little more boring, or a 6 could also be, and this is where it gets tricky, a 6 or 5 could also be like, okay, I know this anime is trashy and it's not good, but I'm enjoying it, so 6 or 5. What are your thoughts on that? And let's go to, and I can't go to Auno Zero Season 2, but, well, actually I can, because a friend of mine probably does want me to finish this one day. I don't know why. To make me suffer. But I will add this to my, on hold. Let's see. I watched, I'm going to say, I think 10 out of 12, and we'll put on hold. For to infinity and beyond, because I don't know when I'm getting to it. And then let's go to Amagi Brilliant Park. It's one of the most comedic animes I've watched from KyoAni, who also did Fumofu, which is pretty funny. I enjoyed this one, but it's nothing to write home about, so I think it'd be fair to give this one... I didn't have too many problems with it. I thought it was fun. Not a lot kind of driving it, but I think it's fair to give it a 7. It was funny. And let me just check what's going on in the chat. Mark it as dropped. Hey, Constantinos. Welcome to the stream. All right. Yeah, if my audio is kind of low, if anyone else feels like my audio is kind of low, just let me know. Maybe I'll either get closer to the mic or bring the mic closer or speak louder. Sorry if that was too loud. Okay, and then, this next one is huge classic that if you haven't seen this movie, you should. Whether you like it or not, I feel like this movie was so influential for its time, and so many other anime took influence from this movie that, it's worth giving a watch, at least once. And that's another factor, actually, now that I want to mention about scoring system, because another way that people that I've seen structure their scores is whether, at a certain level, is when they'll actually, this is an anime, like an 8 is an anime that I can recommend to people. This is something I'll recommend. 9, definite recommend. 10, I'm practically begging people that they need to watch this, I guess. Or another metric that they use is like replay value. Like, a 7, this is a good anime. It was good, but it's not something that I'll be motivated or probably rewatch in the future. 8, definitely I'll rewatch it occasionally. 9, probably going to be rewatching it a lot of times. And then 10, I'm going to rewatch it the rest of my life and tell my grandkids about it. Maybe that's another metric. So, what do you think is more important for your personal scoring system? And as for this, I think Akira was, to tell you the truth, I think for half of it I wasn't sure what was going on, but I don't think you were supposed to. I think Akira was, I think, an 8. I think it was good. Um, I'm thinking like, do I really want to give it an 8? Like, no, I think it was an 8. Could be a 7, because it was like, you know, without spoilers, that whole last piece with just all the Tetsuo and screaming. It's like, is that really memorable? All right, who am I kidding? It's iconic. It's an 8. So that's Akira, and I'm sort of going in alphabetical order, but then I'm gonna go to Excel World next, which is technically should have come before Akira, but let's do Excel World. And I think this was this treated as 2 seasons or just 1? 24 episodes. Okay, it's just 1 whole season. Yep, this is one of those anime that needed a season 2. Wait, is Excel World EX a season 2? Did I watch that? All right, I will check that out in a second. This came out in 2012. I remember enjoying this. I would give it a solid good. And I get that my anime list has its own kind of interpretation of the scores here. You know, 10 is a masterpiece, 9 is great, 8 is very good, 7 is good, 6 is fine, 5 is average, 4 is just bad, 3 is just very bad, 2 is horrible, 1 is appalling. Guys, what is your personal 1? Let me know in the chat. What is just disgusting to you as an anime? And Excel World EX. I don't remember this. This was 2 episodes. Did I watch this? I don't remember if I watched this. This is so weird. I'm gonna add this to my plan to watch, even though I don't remember anything about the series at all. Like a little bit, but not enough to like know the context of watching this. Don't you just hate when that happens? That was like this year when I was Oregairu, or My Teen Romantic Comedy Snafu season 3 came back, like finally having a new season after like 5 years away, and I had not touched season 1 or 2 since I last watched it back in 2015, and I was just like, should I watch season 3 without refreshing on what came before? And I meant to, but I didn't, and it was just like a lot of context wasn't there. You know, I got the overall thing, but I don't think I was able to appreciate the nuance. And let's see what's going on in the chat. Okay then. Oh, Angel Ranger's volume is at max. Rip. Sorry in advance. Hot take. Oh, Delph comes in with a hot take. Akira is overrated. You know what? I can agree with that. I can. There is merit to that hot take. I definitely feel like a lot of people blow up, you know, like Akira to be this super like insanely good movie, but it's not that. It's really just how influential it was. Kind of like how people, you know, admittedly overrate Ava. You know, you can't deny how influential it was and it has been. But does that merit it having a good rating? Maybe, maybe not. So I definitely think that's a valid hot take. Did you like not like Akira's story, or were you just like meh? And then Constantino says, it very much depends on how much I enjoy the piece of entertainment. Also, the ending makes a big difference on what I would rate something. I think that's valid. I used to a long time ago when I was first watching anime, I used to put a lot of stock in the ending. Like, you know, if it didn't have a good ending, then that's it. You know, like that would pretty much crap on the rest of the story. But lately I've been more open-minded about, you know, endings and kind of acknowledging that some are like rushed, or, you know, the whole series, the whole journey could have been great. They just didn't know how to properly give it some closure, and that's okay. You know, it might lower the rating a little bit, but there's been other cases where an ending might bring up that score. You know, it might have saved a more lackluster season, and you'll see an example of that soon. I have one like this on the list. I'm getting to that. Let's see. And then, if the story tries too hard to appear too intelligent, is too convoluted, has bad pacing with serious events, misplaced comic relief, or just has really shitty characters, they get a 5 or lower. That is from Giving No Fox. Yeah, I can agree with that. Yeah. Shitty characters is definitely not a selling point. Ninja Dynasty has joined the stream. Hey, man. Glad to see you here. I didn't think people watch this. I don't know what he's referring to there. My only one I gave was Guilty Crown. Is that? I think I'm going to be adding that soon. Actually, no, I can't. I didn't finish it. So, but I think that would be a 1. I could agree with that. Interspecies Reviewer gets a 1. Giving No Fox says. And Constantino says, I haven't watched an anime that's a 1. I don't like anything about it from trailers and stuff. I just won't watch it. Yeah, that makes sense. I've never finished an anime I consider 1. Yeah, you know what? I think that's a smart move. Like, why would you watch a 1 in its entirety? Yeah. I mean, I technically have an anime that I consider a 1, but I didn't complete it. I'm just basing this off 1 episode, but I know it's not going to get better. And then Ninja Dynasty gave Interspecies Reviewers an 8. Well, I didn't finish it, so I don't know if I agree with you, but from what I watched, it was all right. It was like yeah, it had some gross stuff, but it was like a 5 or a 6 maybe. But I can't wholeheartedly give it a ranking yet. Maybe I should put that on my on my on hold list, plan to watch list while I was watching it. Dropped? I don't know. I'll add it later. And let's see. So I did Excel World. Oh, okay. This is another one that I haven't watched since it aired. So I vaguely remember this. Anonatsu de Materu, which is Waiting in the Summer. This aired on Crunchyroll. And it was good. I mean, it was okay. Let's see. I'm saying good and okay. 6 or 7. Let's start off with saying it's completed. I mean, it was cute. I didn't hate it. I think it was a 7. And if you guys watch this anime, what do you think? Do you remember it more than me? And this is from the same producers of... Right, was it the same character design? I think it's the same character designer as Please Teacher and Please Twins. That was its selling point. Or Onegai Teacher. It says producers, studios. I gotta have to look at the staff. Yeah, too many staff. I'll get there later. But I know it was somehow related. Definitely with the character designs, it's the same. And then next up on this list is Auno Exorcist. The TV show from, not the Kyoto arc, but the TV show from 2011. I'm like trying to remember if I even did finish this because I just started reading the manga at one point through, and I know the anime had some rushed ending. And I remember bits and pieces of that. So, I think this was... And this is another interesting metric. Like, so what if you've read the manga, so the story is good, and the anime itself got you interested in the story, but the adaptation itself had like a rushed ending, or they kind of botched something at the end, and it wasn't that great, but the story itself is good. How would that affect your rating? As for me, I think this was, and I guess I have to count the ending. I think I'm between a 6 or a 7. I think this was a 7. Possibly. I have to revisit that. Delph says he vaguely remembers liking Anonatsu. Giving No Fox agrees with the rating. I thought the comedy was funny. I need to go back up. Why can't we trust Deity's taste? This is why. This is why we can't trust his taste, yeah. I thought the comedy was funny, but it's very subjective. Okay, so cool. Thanks for weighing in, guys. And then I think that's it for what I watched of this. The rest, I didn't complete the Kyoto arc that came out a few years later, and I didn't watch the movie. And actually, if you watched the Kyoto arc, let me know what you thought of that. Was that actually a good, a better, more faithful adaptation? Is it worth checking out? Or is it still kind of like in the same ballpark, 7? Maybe I'll add that to my plan to watch. I don't know. It didn't really catch too much of my attention when I watched the first episode or so. A few things were different. such as like the character designs. I liked it better in the first adaptation. And then next up, one that I actually really enjoyed and I've forgotten about because the manga went on hiatus and then abruptly ended, but I really, really enjoyed watching the anime. It was Baby Steps. It had a very realistic like breakdown of tennis and kind of learning it, as the name implies, step by step. And you got really invested in the character. The main character is very methodical and really like very studious and took his time to kind of get better and balance it with his studies, and he got really into it, and it just, I don't know, it was, if you've ever like gotten motivated by like a sports anime, but also one that breaks it down so much, like I hate to keep reusing the name of the title, but step by step, and kind of what goes into that's what is part of its appeal. And just, it got you kind of into like understanding the technical aspects of tennis in a realistic way, as opposed to something like, Prince of Tennis. And I'm not knocking Prince of Tennis. I never really finished it, but it was a little more like more traditional sports anime, where a little more unrealistic and, fantastical. Yeah. So I think this was, for me, a solid 8. I definitely recommend Baby Steps. And Baby Steps second season, I don't remember if it was better or just about the same. I just remember enjoying it the whole way through. I think maybe it was a 9. And maybe you really want to read the manga, so I'm gonna go with it. It's a 9. Baby Steps, highly recommend. I don't know if I should be recommending it because I don't know. I never really did check on that manga ending, but if you did read the manga ending and you still thought it was good closure for the series, then let me know. Okay. Do I want to start this? So next up on this list, actually, let me check in the chat before I go here. Let's see. Constantinos says, I haven't even heard of half the shows you are rating. Still entertaining to watch. Well, that's good to know, as long as it's entertaining. And definitely, if there's something that you see that piques your interest, I know I'm not reading summaries here and really telling you too much of what it's about, but if you're curious about something, or if you definitely see I've ranked it an 8 or 9, then that's a definite recommend. DD or Ninja Dynasty says, Prince of Stride Alternative. I don't know what that is. All right, so next one on this list is Bakemonogatari. Which I am currently rewatching. Well, I'm actually kind of jumping around. I'm rewatching the whole franchise, working on something. But I was doing a bit of research into it last night, and so I did rewatch Bakemonogatari, most of it on like 2.5 times speed. So it is fresh in my head, and I think Bakemonogatari is one of those animes that's really unique and takes some getting used to. A lot of flashing text, very visually, like very aesthetic and visually interesting and visually pleasing. A lot of colors. What I'm most amazed about is when I was rewatching this is that this was made in 2009. Like, it's really good. It's really far ahead of its time with what it was trying to do. It's very I don't know, ambitious. So I would give Bakemonogatari definitely a 9. It's not perfect, and it has like some arcs that are a little more interesting than others, but overall with its message and its overall aesthetic, it's really good watch. And on that note, it would be a nice transition to move to the next part of the next season and just do all the monogataris, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to commit to going in this alphabetical order, so you're going to have to wait till I get to, I think, N to do Nisei Monogatari. And then let's do... And so if you haven't watched Bakemonogatari, I definitely recommend watching it. If you're intimidated by the watch order, it's really easy to just Google a recommended watch order, and usually they'll recommend you the airing, the order in which it aired. So if you just have that list, it's kind of easy to just get into. Most of it is on Crunchyroll, so, and Funimation as well. Next up on this list is Beastars. And I'm pretty sure everyone in the chat is acquainted or has heard of Beastars or has watched it. It's on Netflix. Everyone was talking about it at some point. I enjoyed Beastars. It didn't emotionally resonate with me as much as it did with other people. One of my favorite characters is definitely this deer character. It's a deer, right? Yeah. His arc was definitely very, very interesting to watch. He was one of the more compelling characters. But everyone, the cast was overall good. Don't let the furry thing, kind of dissuade you from watching. It's a very it really is it's a very human story, but it's just using animals kind of just to tell a story really about a race and class division and all of that, so which is kind of like what Zootopia did. So anyways, I think, as what I was saying, with it didn't emotionally resonate with me as much as it did other people, which I think found it to be like a 9 or a 10. For me, it was more of like an 8. Let's see. Well, 1 second here. 1 second. And let's see. Well, if you see me not clicking anything, I've kind of run into some technical difficulties where my mouse does not want to move. So my mouse is not moving. So I can't click anything. My mouse is not moving, and I don't know if it's because my mouse is dead. Is it dead? Well, I hope it's not dead. Did I get a notification about it being dead? Well, this is awkward. Well, let's, is this where I flash a sign that says, "We'll be right back, dealing with technical difficulties at the moment." I don't know what to do here. It's not, and I can't even check the battery level. Let's see. Well, I'm going to have to do something here. What if I grabbed another mouse and use that instead? Let's see. Let's go over here. Let's see. Let's see. Well, in the meantime, I will read the chat while I hope my mouse suddenly starts working. Let's see. Let's go here. All right. So, where's Manter? I don't know where Manter is. And what joins at the most awkward moment. My mouse stops working. Great entrance, buddy. Furry moment. Look at this furry. Imagine streaming on a Mac. Yeah. Steven Jobberts. Okay. If you can click and just can't move, then it's a sensor problem. Most probably. Click. Well, I can't even click. So let's see. I'm trying to see if I can keep moving. I don't know. I haven't actually I've just been using this mouse and I never checked the battery level on it, because I have 3 wireless mouses and I usually charge the other 2 frequently, but this one I haven't really been charging. So now it's moving because I charged it a little bit. So maybe it is the charge. Let me just check what is the battery level. The battery level is 1%. Okay. So let me just give this rating. Oh, Jesus Christ. Beastars is an 8. And while we're on the topic, what do you think about, since you're here, what would you give Beastars? What were your thoughts on it, if you're still in the chat? Do you agree with an 8? Do you think it should have been more? Do you think it should have been less? Why? And another one going next is from 2008. One of the first anime I remember Crunchyroll started streaming / simulcasting, which was Blast Raider. it was okay. I definitely barely remember it. It had some very jarring 3D, understandable for the time, but I'd give it a 5. It was okay. Nothing really that was that compelling story wise. It was interesting a little bit, but it didn't do it for me. And I think I should probably go back to charging this mouse. So we're gonna hope it charges a little bit more. Just get that maybe that 5% to last me through the stream while I awkwardly stare at the camera. Now that title, OniMaru struggles to rate his anime is now becoming quite literal, like literally struggling. Like he can't even charge the mouse. Or maybe this was planned, a planned handicap, a stipulation for drama. No, I wish I was this much of a long-term planner. Let's see what the chat says. Did you not charge it? Yeah, okay. Only true elites use Max. I agree with this. Greg's gadgets guy. Greg's gadgets sounds familiar. That does it. Okay. Yeah. Let's see. Can I switch to another mouse? How would I switch to another mouse? What is... If I got up from my chair, would that be okay? Let's see. All right. Well, I can't sync this one. All right. All right. I'll be right back. Okay, I don't have access to elevator music. We haven't done the elevator music setup yet. Maybe in future streams we'll have the elevator music ready to go. And then Greg's Gadgets has offered on the stream to donate AirPods Max to the channel. At least that's what I think he's saying. If you agree with that, definitely, tell Greg's Gadget, motivate, encourage Greg's Gadgets to donate those to the channel. And then let's see. The torture of having 3 Apple mouses, but they all connect to other computers. Yes, it is torture. I am currently being tortured by my mice that can't connect to the same computer. Let's see. So I'm gonna check my mouse now and see where that is in the battery percentage. And if you're getting a kick out of this, well, first, screw you. And second, well, at least it's something. But definitely, thanks for sticking around with the technical difficulties. Let's see. So the mouse is at 2%. I think this is enough. I think this is enough to carry me through. And I swear this won't happen the next time. This won't happen on the next stream. I will check the charge beforehand. This is actually the furthest thing from my mind that I expected. So, but hey, that's life. Next one on here is Blood Plus. And I think while I'm talking, I'm just gonna, discreetly put the mouse to charge. But if I don't have anything to say about that anime, then I have to keep it on. So Blood Plus, I actually really enjoyed back in the day when I watched it. This was a 2005 anime, so I remember watching this back then. It was like, I think I was still in high school. I just started high school. I don't remember like too much about the plot points, but I just remember it being really good from beginning to end. And it had an element of romance in there too, so that was enjoyable. It was definitely better than I think a few years later. I think they came out with Blood Sea, which I only watched an episode of Blood Sea. It definitely was not at all couldn't live up at all to Blood Plus. That actually reminds me, did I ever watch Blood the Last Vampire? I gotta check on that in a second. But yeah, long story short, I think I'd give Blood Plus a solid 8. Maybe even better if I remembered it a little more. And on that note, I'm going to check on Blood the Last Vampire. The original movie, I don't remember if I watched this. I think it was like 48 minutes. Because I'm getting confused between Blood the Last Vampire and Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust, which I should probably add to this list, to add to my completed list. Blood the Last Vampire. I don't remember. I don't think this had anything on the Blood Plus series. Now that was a good adaptation, but this was the basis for it. I'm still trying to remember if I did watch this. Well, I can't add it then. I will make a note to myself to check if I did actually watch this. Did I watch? All right, that's a note to myself, and I'll come back to this. Maybe I should add it to something. Nah. All right, and then, so what I was talking about earlier, I brought up maybe like an ending saving a show. So I was thinking about this a little bit ahead of time. Let's start with Boku no Hero Academia, which I know some of you in the chat have been waiting for. So let's see, Boku no Hero Academia. So I think the show overall, I think I would recommend Boku no Hero Academia or My Hero Academia to anyone. It's definitely like, overall, it's like an 8. All 4 seasons that are out, I think it's an 8. I think the weakest season, and this is arguable, but I think the weakest season is the first season. It was okay for the most part, but what saved it, and I think what brought it, at least brings it up to an 8, is its last few episodes, specifically its last episode, which has been memed the hell out of for good reason. It's just epic. So that in itself would give My Hero Academia season 1 an 8. And here on my anime list, I kind of have to go and rate each season, so I'd give it an 8. Let me know if you disagree in the chat or if you think it should be lower. But personally, for me, I think I'm fairly comfortable giving it an 8 because I can rewatch the hell out of that last episode in season 1, or I think it's the second to last episode, because I think the last episode was actually like, was it like a recap or something else happened? It was kind of like an aftermath sort of thing. So it might be the second to last one I'm talking about. But let's see, 8%. Yeah. Diddy says, or Ninja Dynasty says, you swore to upload monthly as well. What is this in reference to? And you know what? It's a new year. Give me a break. We like, I have a chance to rectify that. We'll get to that in a second. But yeah, no, I definitely enjoyed My Hero Academia, and I think it's fair to give this season an 8. So let's do that. So season 1 is an 8. Now let's dig into the second season, which I really, really enjoyed watching the second season a lot. I remember when I'm like a big, like, when I read the manga for something, I really don't care about watching the anime at that point because I know the story. But my friends insisted, oh, just check it out, and then I finally did, and it was just as exciting or even more exciting than reading the manga, which I was surprised. So I'd give this season a 9. And I don't know if the subsequent seasons were able to reach the consistent highs of this season alone. So that's why, like, while I enjoyed certain parts of, let's see, I keep searching for it, but I can go down here, of season 3, I'm kind of like, I don't know, like, it's, I think this is still, it had good bits, but at the same time, I think I'd give it an 8, because Like, as much as I love the All for One fight and a few other things, I don't know if it reached that same excitement of season 2. And likewise for season 4, or rather go down here, season 4, I think season 4 was an 8 as well. I definitely enjoyed it. I definitely think the last episode or 2 episodes were like a 9 by themselves. And maybe I'm contradicting myself by saying like one episode could save season 1 and bring it up to an 8, and then the last 2 episodes of this season can't save it and bring it up to a 9. I don't know. I think this season was a little bit uneven in terms of its excitement factor. Should I give it an 8 or a 9? I'm going to go with an 8, and I'll revisit this later. And then let's actually go into the movies. I started here with the second movie, Heroes Rising. Heroes Rising was definitely a 9. I really enjoyed this movie. And the first movie, I don't think it shows up here, so I'm actually going to have to go back to the first movie here, Futari no Hero. You know, it was good. I don't know. I think it captured the spirit of the series. I enjoyed it. I definitely think it was, and that ending sequence was pretty epic. And it has also one of the best girls, Melissa. I don't know. I'm between a 7 or an 8. Should I give it its first 7? I think I'll give it a 7. There you go. Let me know in the chat if you disagree. And I think that about covers most of My Hero Academia. Let's see. Next up on the list, we've got 5 centimeters per second, because we're still going in alphabetical order. I don't know how this ended up below here. Ended up like all the way down here. I enjoyed 5 centimeters per second. I thought it was definitely good and heartbreaking in the emotion it was trying to capture about a long distance relationship, and how that feeling of separation both takes a toll and makes you feel an intense longing. Like, this is Makoto Shinkai, pre Your Name Makoto Shinkai, who just, someone hurt him. And he was literally like trying to write about this, write himself out of this through his movies, or maybe it was more like, all right, man, if I'm on a sinking ship, I want you guys to be sinking with me. Come on, let's go, enjoy the ride. I'm not going down alone. Because I remember when I watched Voices of a Distant Star, 30 minutes, only a 30-minute film, and in those 30 minutes, he broke me with the same exact feeling, probably even worse. But it's okay. I definitely think it's a 7. It's nothing that really, I mean, that's a tough one, because I would recommend people to check it out, but it's not like something I like highly recommend, or it's like a must watch. But if you're curious about his body of work, I'd check it out. I'm between here like a 7 or an 8, but I think I'm gonna go with 7, because it was just I don't know, that was it. And then back to going to being alphabetical again. Let's go to Carol and Tuesday, which I'm sure many of you are familiar with. It came out in 2019. It was in Netflix jail. I mentioned it in one video. So yeah, the Carol and Tuesday. Carol and Tuesday was also kind of uneven. There are certain parts I definitely enjoyed about it. It had some problems. I did enjoy the characters, but there were certain things that, again, it just felt uneven. It did have a really good ending, though. So I'm going to have to give Carol and Tuesday a 7. And for those of you that did watch Carol and Tuesday in the chat, what would you give it? What's your personal rating of Carol and Tuesday, and why? Let's see. And then let's dig in. I actually forgot about these. This is Code Geass I'd ranked the whole series, but I forgot about the OVAs because I technically did watch them and I didn't really care for them. Um, these are either between, you know what? I'm gonna give these a 6. I really didn't care for them. I really just wanted more of the original cast, more of Lelouch, more of the actual Code Geass that we've come to know. You know, I wanted either a continuation or a side story of that, and they were kind of just using this to tease that. And this just felt so unrelated, and I didn't even know what was going on for most of it. So I think, you know, this first one was interesting, but again, it was... And I didn't watch all of them. I think there was 5 total. I think I only watched like 3 of them because they had like some long hiatus. They weren't even coming out. Yeah, no, I definitely think they're all like 6s. Yeah. And I wouldn't really rewatch these. They were just whatever. They did have a tease of 0 at the end of 1, and that was like the most... I remember that being the most exciting thing about them. If you did watch them, did you watch all of them? Did you watch all 5? What did you feel the same way? Do you think it was better than what I'm giving it credit for? You know, let me know. But I don't think it was really interesting because it wasn't in line with what we've come to expect from Code Geass too much. And let me just check in on the chat. 5 centimeters per second is actually currently number 2 in my watch list, says Constantinos. Well, then you should definitely watch it. Definitely check it out. It's definitely not a bad movie. It's good. It'll make you sad. And if that's how you want to feel, then that's the appropriate mood. But I was between either a 7 or an 8, so I'd still recommend it. Especially if... I think everyone should just kind of check out Makoto Shinkai's work before Your Name. Because as much as I didn't enjoy Weathering With You, which was post Your Name, and I think he was trying to recreate that, he had some interesting things he was exploring in the movies before that. So I definitely think those are worth checking out. I didn't watch Garden of Words, though, and I had a friend tell me that was just kind of like foot fetish the movie. But I don't know if it's because it's that particular friend or if that's just literally how it felt like. So if anyone else can chime in on that, let me know. Was Garden of Words actually good? That's another one from the pre-Your Name era that I was thinking of checking out at some point. And then everything will be Daijobu. Carolyn Tuesday should have been 3 seasons or should have been a 3. Okay, 3 seasons. Yeah, they condensed a little too much. Music was good. 2nd season just packed too many conflicts. You know, I'm hard pressed. You know, I was hard pressed to give it a 7 because I feel like certain parts about like that ending alone might have pushed it up to an 8 for me. And there was a few other things, but I don't know. I think for now, I think 7 is fair. Oh, you liked Given to a Fox liked Akito over the original Code Geass. Why? What about it? Is it because it didn't have Lelouch? But okay, aside from you liking it over the original Code Geass, do you feel like it's do you actually feel like it's a 7 or an 8, or are you just in comparison to the original Code Geass? What can you elaborate a little more? Okay, and then Delph chimes in, Garden of Words lives up pretty well to Shinkai's other pre-Your Name movies. You mean in kind of like exploring kind of like a longing or a deeply like sad or melancholic feeling? Like is it better than 5 centimeters per second and a place promised in your early days, or is it kind of just about the same? And actually, speaking of which, I don't think I've rated A Place Promised in and I always gotta get the Japanese titles. I think this is it. I don't think I ever rated this one. This one I watched around the same time as 5 centimeters per second, and this one I was actually surprised by because it actually had a happy ending, sort of. I think it did. Yeah, it had like a happy ending. I was like, oh, okay, all right. He didn't try to hurt us too much with this one. Thank you. He gave us a brief reprieve. I definitely think, and also I do have to say, but if you've watched Your Name and Weathering With You, you know already. But even before that, like the background scenery in these movies, just visually stunning, beautiful. Like that in itself should be an 8 or a 9. Like for you to watch these movies. I think that's the major selling point. So even if you're like okay on the story, I think visually, like, definitely worth the watch. And that's why I would recommend his Your Name works. And Your Name and Wuthering With You had some of that too, but I think there was some definitely nice scenes in these as well. So I think this one I don't remember as well. I think that I did enjoy that happy ending, but I think it was a 7. But scenery alone, check it out. And then now I skipped around a bit. There's another one that I remembered a long ass time ago that I did watch, and I actually bought the DVDs for this. This is Comic Party. I don't know if anyone remembers this. I don't even know if this is just considered obscure, but I remember watching it and kind of having high expectations about it. It's like a group, of a doujinshi circle. They don't make hentai or anything or any erotic work, but they kind of are working on their own kind of fan comic or manga. I think it was a fan comic, and they're just going to conventions and kind of selling them. So on that note, it should be like kind of cool, but I don't know, it sort of disappointed me. It didn't really, the cast was kind of bland, and like I remember very little, but I remember just being kind of lackluster. So it was all right, and I did watch all of it, so I think I'd give it a 5. And let me just check in. You're ranking. Imagine you ranking your top 100 anime characters next. Oh God, I don't even want to think about that. I've never even thought about that in my life. I've never ranked my characters. I see some people do that. I've never devoted mental energy towards doing that, and I hope that day doesn't come anytime soon either. Because I don't know if that would be easy or tough, and I would have to go back through all the anime and just kind of see their scenes and be like, I don't know. But big kudos. I commend those of you who have done that. I might do it in the future. I don't know. But not something I want to think about. And yes, Delph says, as I thought, these Shinkai movies, pre Your Name Shinkai movies, or all of them, really freaking pretty. Definitely good background wallpapers. That's definitely what you can use those screenshots for. Giving No Fox says, Code Geass only got better for me when Schneitzel showed up. I just didn't enjoy the random fan service and character dialogue. Like, if it wasn't for Clamp's designs, I never would have watched it. A friend was telling me recently, like, I really need to rewatch Code Geass in more recent years. I remember really enjoying it, but he's like, it doesn't hold up when you're older. So I haven't really checked it out. It's, maybe I wouldn't see it with as rose-colored glasses as I would back then. So that's something I got to rewatch. There's a lot I have to rewatch. But another one that was that's on my list and batshit insane. And I don't know if you guys remember this. I remember watching this as it was airing back in 2014. Cross Angie. One of its major selling points was that the lead character, the main female lead, was voiced by Nana Mizuki. I don't know if you're familiar with her and her openings. J-pop singer. She's done some really good openings for anime. I don't know if you ever watched Shugo Kara. That's another one that I should probably add to this list, actually. It's on my list. But she did the songs for that. She also teamed up with TM Revolution to do the songs for Valve Rave the Liberator. Christ, I just remembered. Okay, that's another one I watched. I have to add that to my list. And I don't blame you if you haven't watched that one either. But she's a really good singer. I'm trying to think of more known anime that she's done openings for. If you guys remember, just let me know in the chat to give it as an example. But essentially, the selling point was that she was the lead character. She voiced the main character, Anju, and or Angie or Anju. Pronounced in the Japanese, they said Anju. And the character would also sing at some points. But the anime itself was like a giant clusterfuck. Like I didn't know where it was going, and it was just crazy. But it wasn't. I don't know. It wasn't horrible. Like, it was never boring. I have to say that. But it some of it just makes no sense. So I don't know what to give it. I think I have to give it a 6. I don't know. It was, or maybe a 7. Like, I can't call it good. Or was it good? I'm going to give it a 6 because like I enjoyed it, but a lot of it didn't make sense. And maybe that's like someone tried to argue with me what's awesome about it is how just like it doubles down on just doing whatever the F it wants and just kind of like not giving a crap. He actually made an analogy. This is actually what the what, by the way. He made an analogy to Fast and the Furious being the same way, the Fast and the Furious franchise, you know, being kind of the same spirit as Cross Angie, where it just kind of doubles down on being ridiculous, and that's its selling point, and that's respectable, and that in itself makes it awesome. So I can get that. I'll have to revisit this, but for now, from what I remember, I was just like, I'm along for this ride. I don't know why I'm still watching, but hey, you know what? Whatever. And if you've watched it, you know, let me know what you think. And then after this, okay, I got the Daikon opening animations, which I will talk about in a second. What is going on with you guys? Let's see. Valve Rave the Liberator, 20 out of 10. Rosario plus Vampire. I think I have to add that too, actually. There's so many animes I'm remembering that I watched and was not remembering at all that I did watch them. I think I watched both seasons of that. I don't know. And actually, so Daikon opening animations, these were a little bit of history about these. These were shorts done by what was before Studio Gainax was Studio Gainax. They were Daikon Film, and they had started out as a group of otaku kind of doing these short animated openings or films, but they were really more like openings for this convention in Japan known as they did one for Daikon 3, and then the subsequent convention a year later known as, I think it was a year later, known as Daikon 4. And these openings were awesome. They kind of like put in everything they loved into these. Like you got cameos from like Darth Vader, Gundam, you know, Superman, Western superheroes, all with this bunny girl female lead just kind of going through all the different, like jumping in through all the different worlds, like, you know, fighting Darth Vader and doing all these things. It's crazy. So if you've never gotten a chance to watch it, it's actually pretty iconic. You know, I think I'd give both of these. Daikon 4 is definitely better than Daikon 3, but they're both good. And I think this puts both of them together, so I'd give them an 8. Definitely good to watch. If you can find it. I think it's probably on YouTube. And then, okay. Do I want to do this one? I don't know. Okay, so it's on my list. I'm going alphabetical order. Let's settle this once and for all. This is for the 5 of you that are currently tuned in, so I don't have to worry about you know, who gets offended here. But realistically speaking, and as you've seen on my OniMaru channel, I did a lot of videos on Darling the Franxx, and I did have a review video that I talked about it, kind of my feelings on the show, kind of at the end. I've had some time to think about it a little more. It definitely helped that I watched it while it was airing. But overall, the show was, the first 15 episodes were pretty solid. Few things were ridiculous, such as the booty interface. But it was all right. It was good. The characters were all right. But up to episode 15, it was very interesting. And then after that, it just kept dropping the ball, and it became very uneven, with episode 20 kind of really like kind of jumping the shark a little. But I felt like by the end, it was able to tell the story it was going to tell. But for that, I definitely think, would I recommend it to people? No, I feel like it might be some people's cup of tea. Would I rewatch it? Probably not. So I think I have to give it like a 6. You know, it's not terrible. It had some problems, but I think 6 is valid. And then whoever in the chat, you know, disagrees, what would you give it? And let's see. After this, I gotta go to Dead Man Wonderland. let's see. Dead Man Wonderland. Again, this is another one of those where I started reading the manga, but I think I did finish the anime, which was either unfinished or had a rushed ending. I think it was unfinished. I thought this was interesting. It was very gory or violent for violence sake. I think a lot of people were, when it first came out, were comparing it to Gantz, but I had never watched Gantz, so I didn't really have a point of reference for that, which I heard like that is a lot more violent and horrific. This is more like, in comparison, like Gantz light. I thought this was, and I did read the manga, and that was okay. So I think the anime as well was interesting, but in the overall, it was a 6. And actually, something here that I skipped over and have never rated was the Cowboy Bebop movie. So let's go back to the Cowboy Bebop movie. I don't remember being like too particularly blown away by this movie. I think it was really good. I think what I was disappointed by was that it was in the sequel. It took place before the ending, and I was like, I don't know. It was that. I think that's what disappointed me when I first watched it. But I think that doesn't take away from how it was as a movie. So I think it was definitely like, I think from what I remember, it was an 8. Had definitely good action scenes. And it was an enjoyable watch. So, and let me know, does anyone actually, do people remember this movie more? Is it more fresh in your heads? Do you think it was more of a 9? I think 8 is fair, from what I remember. And then, okay. Do I want to do this? So I'm going to go back. I'm going to do some nostalgia here. Let's do Digimon Adventure. All of them. And I don't know who in the chat is a Digimon fan, but let's offend some people. Digimon is very nostalgic for me. But overall, like, it wasn't anything that, like, I don't know. I'd rewatch it for nostalgia's sake, but I think it was enjoyable. So I'd give it between a 5 or a 6. I definitely give the first season of Digimon, the first series, definitely give it a 6. Maybe a 7. I'll give it a 6. And then this led to the spin-off. What was the next one? Digimon Adventure 2. Where do I find that? Do I go to Wargame? Wargame. I definitely enjoyed Wargame, actually, a lot. I think I'd give Wargame a 7 even. Wargame was good. Let's see. What is the second one called? Is the second one just Digimon Adventure 2? Is it on here and am I just blind? Because I know Savers, Tamers, Frontier, but I think it's not listed here. Digimon Adventure, that's not it. So it would have to be, let me just type in Digimon Adventure 2. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Franks is another show that should have also been 3 seasons. Yeah, I agree with that. Definitely a refreshing change, and Gantz was far more gory. Gantz is also very violent. Yeah, Deadman is Gantz on easy mode. It's also very horny. 8 is fair. New Wargreymon Mega Evolution sequence was awesome. Yeah, but we're not talking about the latest season. Were you more of a Digimon fan or a Pokemon fan? Of course, I was more of a Digimon fan. Pokemon never really was kind of going anywhere. And Digimon was just exciting to watch and see where it went next. I definitely really, really enjoyed watching the first season. And I enjoyed the second season, which I'll get to how season 3 ruined that in a second. Actually, no, it's season 3 definitely was lame, and how it said the first 2 seasons that you totally looked forward to watching every Saturday morning, that was just fake. It wasn't real. That's not the real story. That was just a TV show. God, season 3 ruined that. I definitely, I don't know, I enjoyed season 1 more than season 2, but season 2 wasn't bad. I like that they brought the old cast back and you had Black War Greymon, so I give it a 6. Maybe I have to bump up the first season to a 7, but for now, I think they're both 6s, and I think Digimon Tamers was season 3. Digimon Tamers, season 3. I'm a little salty about them, kind of sullying my childhood of the precious memories of watching the first 2 seasons. Although this was still in my childhood, but you get what I mean. I was just very annoyed about it. But I think this season was okay. I think it definitely introduced some interesting elements. It was fine. I don't remember it as much. And then after this was Digimon Frontier, which I did actually watch. I enjoyed aspects of this one. You know, the spirit digivolving was kind of cool, but it didn't really recapture. It tried to. Like, I felt like it did the thing where like the main characters, the 2 male leads, were essentially trying to be like Matt and Ty all over again, especially represented with the Digimon that they had, the wolf and the flame one. But I don't know. This was okay. I think it was all right. I think I give that a 5. And then yeah, so that's it for Digimon. I didn't watch any of the other newer Digimon series, and I don't know if I missed another movie in between, but that's pretty much it. And then let's see. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'm being fair with, because again, I'm basing it off like I really enjoyed the first 2 seasons. But I don't know if that's nostalgia talking. And the third one was cool. It was definitely darker, but I don't know. And then Frontier was interesting in itself. But I'm gonna stick with these ratings. I'll revisit them in the future. For now, I think that's all right. Let's move on to another, actually a big trash fire. Domestic na Kanojo. Domestic girlfriend. What can I say about this one? This was like a giant, trashy soap opera that had like the worst bait, you know. Like, it didn't care about how low it had to sink to get you to keep watching. But the point is, it got you to keep watching. And I'm still salty about the manga ending, but for the anime itself, it was a good adaptation. And honestly, what else would I expect with the premise? Like, I knew what I was getting into. I was just mad that it just kept me watching. I think it's definitely a 6, because I enjoyed some elements, but I knew what I was watching was trash. Trash of the highest caliber, though. And for those of you, I don't know if you guys checked out Domestic Girlfriend in the chat. Would you rank it higher? Would you rank it lower? I think 6 is fair. And let's see. Oh, okay. Let's do is it wrong to pick up girls in a dungeon anime? Let's see. Dungeon. This is season 2. I don't even think I touched season 3. This one was okay. It had some interesting elements to it, but more of a guilty pleasure than something that was actually like really good in my opinion. Again, I know some people feel very strongly about the light novels and say it's a lot better than the light novels, but the anime was okay. And I actually was really enjoying the first 4 episodes, the first arc in the second season. But then after that, it just kind of devolved to the usual stuff, and it just became really uninteresting. So I think I'd also give this a 6, kind of the same old, in my opinion. And then next up, we got Durarara, which is definitely not fresh in my head at all. I enjoyed the first season, so I would recommend people watch the first season. I think it was an 8 or a 7, but I think for now, an 8. I was very disappointed by subsequent seasons. You know, I was happy that it got sequels and they actually finished the story, so I commend it for that. But I was very disappointed by, I don't know, I just didn't understand what the hell was going on. So it got very confusing for me. I'd have to give the subsequent seasons, you know, either a 7 or a 6. I think I'll give it a 7 and chalk it up to me not really being able to follow along. Or maybe that was just the show itself. Again, same here, 7. It didn't really reach the heights of the first season for me. I was very disappointed by the ending. I don't know. Yeah, 7. It was okay. You know, I'm tempted to just give this a 6 because it just felt like it was all kind of for nothing. But again, I don't know. I'm gonna stay with 7. And I have a fun one next. Domestic girlfriend is sin. All right. And the next one we got here is Ero Manga Sensei. This one was fun. Ero Manga Sensei. This one, you know, it was fun to watch. But I don't know, man. I think this is even lower than Domestic Girlfriend. This is just bad. But it was fun, but bad. And that's what made it fun. So I'm going to give it a 4. And actually, so bad it's good? I don't know. It's tough. Because I did have fun watching it. I don't know. Whatever. But I realized that there was an OVA, and I never knew there was an OVA, and I never watched this. So I'm going to add this to my plan to watch. I will get to this eventually and give it a score. Ero Manga Sensei. If you haven't watched it, I mean, you don't really need to. But if you want to, go ahead. It's definitely what I would call an experience. Definitely an experience that you don't want to watch around. You don't want to have anyone near you or in the near vicinity when you're watching it. That's that kind of experience. Season 2, Danmachi. Delph brings up a good point. How do you rate something that's so bad it's good? Does it get a high rating of low? Like, that's tough because, like, in the back of my mind, I know it's bad. Like, I know it's not, you know, this is tough. I think maybe this is what I was having that conversation about, like, Cross Angie. Like, it was so good. Like, it was so, like, it doubled down in its ridiculousness. And that in itself made it a high rating. But I don't know. I feel like, I think that there's just a special section in hell for those bad anime that are just good. Because I don't feel like it's, because at that point I guess like it is a good point too, because ratings are subjective. So you could give something a 9 or a 10, and then people will be like, "What? How is this?" You know, it might mess with the consistency of how you gave like this other seriously, you know, objectively good show a 10. And this other same show, like if you gave Ero Manga Sensei a 10, it's like, so I don't know. But I think it's just the knowledge of, you know, it's a little higher. It's not a 3 or a 2 or 1, but it's like a 4 or 5 or 6. Maybe 6 is kind of like that, denoting like bad, but you had fun watching it. I think that's when you have to start filling out your criteria for what each individual score means. Um, and actually, I never watched A Sister's All You Need. Um, yeah, I definitely agree with the guilty pleasure and prison school sentiment. I think and I really enjoyed watching Prison School, but I don't remember what I gave it. Did I give it an 8? I think I gave it an 8. Or did I give it a? I gave it an 8. You know, Prison School was fun. But that was genuinely. I don't know. I think that was. I don't think Prison School was bad though. I think like it was just really really perverted, but the execution was great. It was really funny. So I don't know. Maybe that is in itself subjective, or there's a certain criteria that you have to measure about the execution of the jokes and the type of comedy that it is. Is it just shock value or just kind of like I don't know, something I have to think about a little more. That's a good one. That's why I wanted to kind of come up with a more defined scoring system for my personal scores. And actually, Oreimo, I should just jump ahead and just rank Oreimo here. And I hope, do they have it broken down to the specials? Oh God, I have to do each one. This is another one I watched. Okay, I have to add that to my list. Ore no kanojo to osananajimi ga shuruba sugiru. There is an abbreviated way to say that, and I forgot what it's called. Oreshura, there you go, Oreshura. I need to add that to my list of stuff that I've watched. But that one's nothing to write home about. So, Oreimo, the original TV series, I thought was okay. I definitely give it a 7. It was interesting to watch. Completed. The specials, which I watched all 3, you know, or all 4, with an audience at a convention with a director, at Otacon and in 2013, and we're all hyped, and this was just a trash fire. I would say it was like an 8 or a 7. Like it was pretty much an 8 down to the end of the 3rd special, and then everything just went sideways. So I don't know. I'd have to give it a 4. Like just overall, that was just a terrible experience, terrible ending. And I got the message, but it's awkward. This is why you gotta separate your trash and recycles. There you go. We gotta make that separate list. But I think for now, I think the rating system's okay. Little wonky. I gotta fine tune it, but I think for the most part, I think bad shows, I'm gonna give them a low rating, but I'm not gonna give them as low because I know, like, you know, there was something redeeming about them, or I had some fun with them, and I think that's an okay way to look at it. I think Prison School was actually genuinely good. It was just really horny. That's it. The subject matter itself, that's what it's specialized in. So, yeah. And let's see. After this, so I jumped ahead and I did Oreimo, all of it essentially. And next up, I've got. Actually, let me skip this one and do FLCL. The original, because I never watched progressive or alternative, especially after I heard some bad things. So I was like, okay, there's no point in watching it. But if you think I should check it out, I can give it a shot. But I did not hear good things. Did not live up to the hype. I definitely enjoyed FLCL, watching it back in the day. A lot of it didn't make sense at all, but that was the point. So I'm between giving it an 8 or a 7, but that soundtrack, you know what? I give it an 8. So, and I think, let's see how far we've gotten today. I don't think we've gotten super far. Let's see. Let's go. Completed. We're at 179. Christ. It's like, still haven't made it to 200. Oh, wait, no. We're at 188. It hasn't updated. Okay, 12 more to 200. I might do 12 more, and that's it. Call it for the stream. This is just taking a long time. maybe we got to eliminate the scoring and just go in on just adding in the stuff that I've watched. But I don't know. Seeing my suffering, maybe that's part of the fun. Let's see. Fate Stay Night. Should I do Fate Stay Night? I think I did do Dean Stay Night. Fate Stay Night. Oh no, I just didn't do. I did the original. Yeah. I didn't do Unlimited Blade Works, I think. Fate Stay Night. Oh, that's right. So there was an Unlimited Blade Works prologue. And that's what I didn't rank. They separated the episode 0 out into its own category. So I'd give it an 8, or a 7. I think 8 is fine. It was an interesting prologue. Got me to watch. Fate Stay Night movie. So let's do Heaven's Feel. Heaven's Feel. That first one to me was okay. I was definitely interested because I already knew about the story and kind of where it was going to go. So I know it was just set up and build up and whatever. But the experience itself was all right. It was a little lackluster. Animation was beautiful. But I think overall the movie, content-wise, 6. I definitely enjoyed the second movie for Heaven's Feel. And actually, I just write down here. I definitely enjoyed the second movie a lot more. So I'd give the second movie, I think, an 8. I think it was a good time watching that one. And then I'm going to go and start talking about Free. Free was okay. This was one of those anime that I started watching as a joke that summer that it aired, and it actually wasn't that bad. So I didn't think I'd actually enjoy the story and what they were going for. But it wasn't that bad, and at least I had my favorite one of my favorite female characters go in it. Definitely that helped me get through most of it, and she's awesome. So I think I'd give it a 7. And then I'd give Free Eternal Summer. I think Eternal Summer was a bump up from the previous season. I think, from what I remember, Eternal Summer was an 8. And then Dive to the Future. Actually, let me just keep forgetting to go down here. I think there was a movie here, but I don't remember if I watched that. Eternal Summer. Take Your Marks. What is this? I don't know if I watched this. This is one episode. Okay. I don't know if I checked that out. And then, let's see. Prequel. Was there a prequel to Free? This was High Speed, Free Starting Days. Did I watch this? I think I feel like I watched this, but I feel like I didn't. I don't remember. So I'm not going to rank that one. But Free Dive to the Future was definitely good. I definitely enjoyed it. I think it was interesting. Some cringy scenes in there, but I think it was, I don't know. I think it was definitely a 7. And let's see. Kuroneko Best Girl. Kuroneko is Best Girl. God. They ruined that. Everything was being set up for that, and they just pulled the plug and were like, nah. Nope. We're going to make it uncomfortable for you. Hot take. Best Fate Stay Night series was today's menu for the Emiya family. You know what? That is a hot take, and I can't really argue with. I don't know. I can't really comment on that because I didn't watch that one, and I did hear that many of the Fate fans, while it was airing, were really enjoying it, and some were even saying it might even be better than the series. But I don't know if that was a joke. And I don't know if you're saying that because it's just less convoluted and it's just more kind of feel good and you kind of see the characters just more being themselves and interacting with each other. But and it's about cooking. But you know, I'd have to check it out. But why do you feel it's better? Is it because of you find Fate to be more convoluted, or is it because of the reasons I said? Yeah. And let's see. Do I want to continue here? Yeah, I'm trying to reach that magical 200 number, at least. That is the goal today. So I have only added a few. I need 6 more. 6 more to get to my goal, and I think I'll call it a wrap for this stream. So let's go into this. Let's do Gekkon Shoujo Nozaki-kun, which I vaguely, like, I remember, I don't remember. I remember watching this and enjoying it. The opening was a banger. The characters were fun. It wasn't too serious. It was mostly a comedy. The characters themselves, like, they're not like really fleshed out, but I don't think they're meant to. You're kind of just supposed to kind of know them surface level and kind of enjoy them that way. So I think I don't know, between a 7 or an 8. I think I'd give it a 7. Just because even though I enjoyed it, I don't think I'd be, if I go by, I don't think I'd be rewatching it in the future as much. I probably wouldn't. I wouldn't be against it, but I probably wouldn't think of it. So I think a 7. And then, let's see. Now let's move on to Gin no Saji, Silver Spoon. If you have not watched Silver Spoon, you need to check this out. And if that's not any indication of my rating, well, it should be obvious that I think very highly of this show. I definitely really enjoyed the first season. I don't know if the manga's finished for this. I should look into that. I think it is. I should just bite the bullet and not even wait for season 3 at this point, which might never come, and just finish the manga. Get that closure that I need. It's been years. I definitely think this was an 8. Didn't think an anime could make me interested in farming. Like, really, that's the last thing. Like, okay, drifting, racing, boxing, tennis, okay, I get. All right. But farming? This was that anime. So I definitely enjoyed season 2. I don't remember if it, like, stood out in any way from season 1. So I think I have to give it, it was either an 8 or a 9. I'm going to give it an 8. I really enjoyed Silver Spoon. Maybe me really enjoying Silver Spoon should just push it up to a 9. I'm going to push it up to a 9. Screw it. I really enjoyed Silver Spoon. And then, let's see. I'm going to go, and now I'm going to go do the Ghost in the Shell movie. And if you haven't watched Silver Spoon, or if you've watched Silver Spoon, let me know in the chat. What do you think about Silver Spoon? Do you remember it? Are you still waiting for season 3? And now I'm going to try to find the original Ghost in the Shell movie. I think it's this one, 1995. This is another one I vaguely remember. Watched it once. You know, felt like a classic. I was too young to kind of get all the, I was too young to even understand the philosophical elements, but that in itself was interesting. The philosophical, political, bureaucratic, whatever elements, I just wasn't able to grasp it. So I only watched it more as, you know, just, you know, kind of a visual, kind of like classic. I'm not wording this correctly. You know, just I don't know. I just really was just enjoying the visuals and kind of just watching it for the action. So I think I'd give it. I know this is influential, but I think I'd give it like a 7. It was good. And I'm gonna try to fly through this. Let's see what everyone else has to say. Nozaki may be my most rewatched anime. That's surprising. I have not rewatched it since it aired. It's really been a long time since I last rewatched it. Not knocking it, I just haven't thought about it. But hey, you know, it was fun for when I watched it. I did give it that 9. I gave it that 9. And then let's see. Oh, another classic here, which I actually really enjoyed. I was probably far too young to watch this, but Golden Boy, OVA, 6 episodes, hilarious. If you've not watched Golden Boy, I think it's worth your time. I definitely recommend it. Personally, I don't know. I'm like between giving Golden Boy, like it's really really horny and perverted. So I'm between giving it like an 8 or a 9 because there's not much to it, but it's funny. Might be gross to some people, but it's really funny. I'm torn here. I think Golden Boy is it did have one of my favorite episodes, which was actually the last episode, which took place in an animation studio where this guy took a temp job at, and that was very cool. So I'm gonna give Golden Boy an 8. Yeah, I'm good with that. Might turn to a 9 later. No, I think an 8's fine. I do recommend it. And then up here we have something else that starts with Golden. Golden Time. I remember watching this while it was airing. Golden Time was not fun. Golden Time made me mad. Golden Time, I don't know. I don't even know if I just didn't understand it or I just didn't like the main character. Maybe this show just wasn't for me. And I think some people did really love this show, resonated with it. You know, I've heard some people tell me that, you know, anime doesn't portray realistic romance too much, and this is one of the most realistic portrayals of a relationship, a college relationship or just a young relationship that you'll see in anime. And whether I agree with that or not, I felt like a little bit was blown out of proportion, but and it could have been because I was watching it every week while it was airing. So it's a different mindset. It does affect your viewing experience. But I'm going to call it like it is. I think this was... This was a 4. I hate this show. I'm just going to be honest. Whatever. Yeah, that's it. I hate the show. Maybe I'll rewatch it in the future to see if that hate still holds up and I'm just being overly harsh and misjudging it. But for now, it has earned my 4. And yeah, I can't say anything else. And then beyond that, I just wrote that. Go Sick. I have not watched this. I did not watch this while it was airing. I watched it a few years later when it was recommended to me that it was pretty good. And I actually did enjoy watching this one. Do I remember it? Not too much, but did I enjoy it? Yes. I think this one earns an 8. It was really good for its mystery aspects and what it did. And then this next one. I do remember rewatching this one, and I was very mixed about this one in the beginning. And if you guys have watched Go Sick, definitely chime in the chat. What did you think about Go Sick? You know, do you remember watching it? Do you watch it while it was airing? Yeah, just your thoughts. And this next one, I do remember watching this one. This one was fun. I was questioning it in the beginning. I didn't think I would enjoy it as much as I did. But Girls Last Tour, surprisingly, which could be count as, I guess, like Moe. It is Moe blobs. Would it be cute girls doing cute things? I guess cute girls doing cute things in a bleak apocalypse with no one else around? Maybe. But it's really, it is of the Moe blob sort of aesthetic. So I didn't really think I'd enjoy it. But it happened to be like very, very philosophical. And it had like a hint of hope, strangely enough, in the bleakness. I don't know. It made me think. This one was a good one. So if you haven't gotten a chance to watch it, I definitely check out Girls Last Tour as a post-apocalyptic show that's also, you know, philosophical and worth watching. So I'd give this, I am between an 8 or a 9 here. I think I'm gonna put a 9. I think I really did enjoy it. And then I do have Guilty Crown, but I did not finish this as I disclosed earlier. So I will just add it as permanently on hold. Let's do on hold. I do not know how many episodes I got through. I'm going to put like 16 and that's it. And This one, Hentai Oji to Warawanai Neko. I watched this one while it was airing. This one was okay. I think it was all right. I think I'd give it a 5. And that's it. It was average. And did we hit 200? Did we hit 200? Let's double check on that. The old movies were more in the philosophical aspects. The series more political. Giving No Fox referring to Ghost in the Shell. Watch Nana. That's a more realistic portrayal of relationships. That's surprising because Nana isn't even a josei. It's considered a shoujo. So for it to have that, speaks a lot, about how good the characterization in it is. Cute girls surviving the post-apocalypse. My favorite genre. Yes, Delph. Yes. It was surprisingly a good combo. So we have reached... Oh, we're at 203. Okay. We're done. I got to my goal. Yeah, because this next one was kind of like a series, so I kind of have to do each one. So I think this is a good stopping point for now. Thank you guys for joining. I hope you enjoyed the stream. I hope you found it entertaining. And if you have any suggestions for future streams, I think for next week, I think we're just going to keep continuing this until I'm done filling all these out. And I think we've got a long way to go. But if there's anything you'd like to specifically to see or any topics you'd like me to talk about, I could bring up while I'm doing this. But for the most part, it's going to be this. And if this is entertaining enough, then hey, we have no problems. But yeah, so thanks for tuning in. Once again, Happy New Year. We're in a new year. Definitely, if you have any goals this year, now's the time to start working on them. And I really have nothing else to say. So stay tuned for the next stream. That'll be next week, next Saturday. I don't know what day in January that's going to be, but next Saturday, same time, 2 p.m. EST, and we'll continue this. All right, I'll catch you guys later.